Hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. New patch notes have just dropped, so let's take a look at everything coming to Diablo Immortal. Fell vicious demons with new legendary items. Well met and well struck, adventurer. Since our last meeting, you've bolstered the stockpiles of Westmarch's armory, claimed the Wayfarer's offering, and cleaved through returning events. This content update introduces new legendary items, more events to fight through for Iron Stockpile, and more. So this content update will take place on April 15th or April 16th, depending on which server you are a part of. Now, having a look at the codex here, we've got the new legendary items and balance changes, Iron Stockpile events, returning events, and feature updates. So having a look at the new legendary items, I'm not going to go through all classes. What I will do is I'll link my video for this in the comments below, as I basically made a video for this a couple of weeks back when we were given the information directly from the developers in the partner program. But we're going to scroll down and take a look at Wizard, as there may be some changes. They do sometimes change the descriptions or the percentages slightly with these. So we start off with Equalizer main hand. Each time you use a skill, your next magic missile turns into a flaming missile if cast within 5 seconds, which explodes on impact to deal additional damage to nearby enemies. You can accumulate up to 3 flaming missiles. Flame superiority offhand. Ice armor instead radiates you with fire, burning nearby enemies and increasing your critical hit chance against burning enemies. Horned Veil Helm. Scorch now launches a ball of fire that damages and burns enemies along its path, conjuring a number of fire bolts to orbit you equal to the number of enemies Scorch inflicted with burn. So for example, if you hit 10 enemies with Scorch, you will have 10 fire bolts that orbit you. So it doesn't actually say that there's a limit on that. So if you're using this for Challenge Rift, that actually could be a really helpful essence. Ice Guard Chest. Ice armor grants immunity to knockback effects while active. Fiery Revenge Pants. Teleport is now imbued with fire, damaging and burning nearby enemies when you arrive at your target location. And Insult to Injury Shoulders. Damage dealt by Scorch to the same enemy within 2 seconds is increased by 8%, stacking up to a maximum of 24%. Moving on, we have some balance changes. Now, this is something that myself and GameZone discussed in our recent video together. Again, I will link that in the comments and the caption for this video as well for those that want to see this. So starting off, we have balance changes for Barbarian. Shackled Fate Chain Spear, range reduced from 8 yards to 5 yards. Flickerton Hammer of the Ancients, energy generation from skills is reduced from 20 to 10. Tempest, Skein Partner Rolling Surf, blade range reduced from 8 yards to 6 yards. Now, originally they were looking at reducing this to 4 yards. A few people pushed back on that in the partner program, and that's why it's now 6 yards. Still, I think that's too far for a class that's actually meant to be melee, but there we go. Crusader, the Yawning Rose Judgment. Full time of the fire blast is increased from 0.5 seconds to 1 second. Monk, Inner Sanctuary Baseline. Cooldown increased from 20 seconds to 24 seconds. Necromancer, Wilt Bloom, Command Golem. Damage reduction is reduced to 40% from 50%. Defiling Swarm, Grim Scythe. Hit radius of the scythes are reduced by 33%. Orbit radius around the player is increased from 2 to 2.5 yards. So the developers note here, several PvP classes are overperforming in PvP combat, so we're going to reduce their damage potential to bring it more in line with other classes. The changes are aimed around reducing lethality by adjusting range and frequency, which is aimed to not affect their overall PvP output. So I know that there's been a lot of annoyance from people, or a lot of annoyed players about these potential nerfs. But one thing that, again, myself and GameZone discussed in our video is the issue with having one class or two classes that are OP is that many players then swap to that class, and that creates such a bad imbalance in PvP. And it's things like that that actually lead to these nerfs. If you just stick with the same class because you enjoy it, which is what I've obviously done with Wizard, this means that, you know, people that are doing that, they're giving less of a chance of these harsh nerfs. These harsh nerfs happen when there's one or two classes that are specifically being played by everyone. So that's just something to consider. Don't always swap to the class because it's OP, because that's what leads to these changes a lot of the time. Additionally, considering the recent increases to damage reduction for range classes, we're increasing the defensive capabilities for necromancers to bring them closer to where they were prior to increasing their baseline damage reduction. The following change is a bug fix for the newest battleground map. Conjuration of Light baseline. Cooldown increased from 26.1 seconds to 29 seconds. Effect duration will be reduced by 50% if you use Conjuration of Light again within 16 seconds. I cannot talk once again today. I'm going to just read all of that all over again. Conjuration of Light baseline. Cooldown increased from 26.1 seconds to 29 seconds. Effect duration will be reduced by 50% if you use Conjuration of Light again within 16 seconds. Nailed it that time, other than messing up right at the start. We'll just ignore that part. So moving on to iron stockpile events. One can never have too many deadly bits of iron in their armoury. From April 2nd to April 30th at 3 am server time, bolster the stockpiles of Westmarch's armoury by completing different tasks. So this is continuing until the end of April. So the returning events we've got for this: Fractured Plane April 16th to April 23rd, Wild Brawl April 23rd to April 30th. So obviously most of us know what these events are now. You can find more information on these on the Battle.net and Blizzard website. Returning events, we've got Alley of Blood April 18th to April 21st, All Clans on Deck April 19th to April 26th, Adventurous Path April 26th to May 4th. And some feature updates. So Legendary Gem drop pool changes. After this update, some legendary gems will be removed from the standard drop pool to help make it more efficient, with the total number of gems in the pool now being 48. The gems that were selected to be removed were based off the gems that were selected the least during the last modified gem drop table, which was available on March 25th. The number of gems for each quality level is now 16. The removed legendary gems can be re-added to the drop pool by self-selection, and a maximum of 1 gem of each rank can be selected. Following this update, the following legendary gems will be removed from the standard drop pool. So we've got 5-star legendary gem Hilt of Many Realms, which I don't actually know anyone that uses that. 2-star legendary gem Tear of the Comet, again don't know anyone that uses that. And 1-star legendary gem the Black Rose. Now the 1 and 2-star gems, obviously having these removed from the drop pool isn't the end of the world because you can still craft those pretty easily. It's mainly the 5-star gems that have a bigger impact on players. Mount Zervain and Darkwood boss timer. The world map will now display a countdown timer for world bosses in Mount Zervain and Darkwood. A broken clock may be right twice a day, but a broken sword can never strike true. Season 12 Challenge Rift. The Season 11 Challenge Rift ends on April 28th as the new Season 12 begins at the same time and then ends on June 19th. Challenge Rift levels will increase from 450 to 500 and combat ratings for level 431 to 450 will be lowered. So next up we have Halikri changes. The opening the Halikri questline will now unlock after level 60, previously available at level 36. A note to the wise, you'll need to complete this questline to change difficulties from normal to Hell 1. Changes to Destruction's Call. We're making some changes to being placed in a match for Destruction's Call. You'll only be placed in the Destruction's Call arena once there's enough players to begin a match, allowing you to continue playing while waiting for a match to begin. Additionally, Destruction's Call will now be available to help you get into other matches. I still haven't actually played this, so that's something that I need to look into at some point. And lastly, with this update, we have some bug fixes. So that is everything in this patch note. Obviously, most of us are most excited for the new essences. I think there is a lot of potential with the wizard ones. So fellow wizards, I hope you're just excited about those as I am. There's also some really interesting essences for necromancer as well. So as I mentioned, I will pop the link in the comments and also in the description for this video to the video that I made with all of that information on all of the essences for all classes. But that is it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Official Diablo partner.